Hey, what is going on, guys? I'm KrisLuckPhoto, KrisLuckPhoto.com, and today we're going to talk about 10 reasons this Canon R5 is the best camera to get in 2022. Before all you Nikon and Sony fanboys jump on here and get in the comment section, just know this video is totally subjective. It's based on my preferences here in Alaska. I like to shoot everything from wildlife, nature, landscapes, the northern lights, slow motion videos, regular videos, these kind of videos. And we're going to talk about why the Canon R5 is the best camera for my needs. So nothing is in particular order, and we're going to start off with number one is 45 megapixels. It's a perfect balance. I used to shoot with a Canon 6D Mark II, had like 26 megapixels. I thought that was actually plenty. I think prints turned out well, but I didn't realize the power of being able to crop in and using that extra space. 45 megapixels is a lot. You can really blow up prints and make them look good. Okay, number two, the feel. The feel of the camera is just really good for me. I do have an L bracket on there, perfect for shooting vertical landscapes or horizontal. It just feels really good in the hands. The customizability, whatever that word is amazing on this camera. You can shoot pictures, and then just with this button here, I click that and I'm into video, and it's super perfect. Really is quick. There's no delay. Feels good. On my back here, I have this button is my spot AF, and this button is my animal AF, and this switches between spot and like tracking and whatever other options I have. Actually, but I only leave it as animal IAF and spot AF. So really works perfect for me. I don't ever leave manual, so I just one tap here and I'm in the video. Then I'm tap it again, I'm back to my manual settings. This is shutter speed. This is this is ISO, and this one here is the aperture. So you don't have to press another button to access the ISO like I do on the EOS R, which I'm recording with right now. I do a lot of video with the R5, so like I said, I could switch to the video, and you know, if you had to do something semi-professional, you have 8K 30 FPS at your disposal. I think the 4K looks really good. I use the 4K 120 pretty much every single time I'm taking photos. I like to get some B-roll, and that's why I love just being able to hit that with a tap of a button. Really comes in handy. Okay, so the optional 8K was the third reason. 4K 120 is buttery smooth. That's a reason number 4. Reason number 5, the in-body image stabilization plus the lens stabilization makes this thing absolutely a dream to use. Plus, I'll stabilize it even further in Premiere Pro. I don't have to use my gimbal anymore. Well, I do use my gimbal on like professional stuff, but for everyday use, I do not use my gimbal at all. And it's such a dream to not use the gimbal. I hate setting it up. It's such a pain. It's right here behind me, and I hate it. I wish they made these gimbals automatically detect the weight, automatically balance it. Then I would use them a lot more. But all right, let's move on to reason number 6, and it is right here. It is the built-in intervalometer. This thing is just an absolute beast. I don't know why my Canon 6D Mark II had it, and then when I got the EOS R, it did not have the built-in one. And when I came back to R5, I was pleased to see it return. It is such an amazing feature. Every camera in 2022 should have it. I don't know where the firmware is for the EOS R. There should be no reason it doesn't have it. Great for time lapses, great for star trails. I don't have to bring the wire. I don't have to see the wire just dangling around or flailing in the wind. Really probably my most used feature on this camera, to be honest with you. All right, and then speaking of something that's even more used is reason number 7, this EF to RF adapter right here. This thing, actually, this one has the built-in ND filter that I'm looking at right here. I have a couple of them. These are just, I have no words how seamless they work. I don't have any RF lenses. Do I have an RF lens? No, I don't. I kept all my EF lenses. They work so good. And I don't see a reason to drop $2 to $3 grand for an EF, or I'm sorry, for an RF lens when these things work so good. When these eventually break, or if I win the lottery, maybe I'll upgrade to the RF lenses. Or maybe Canon will send me some. Canon? Your move. You have so many lens options. You can look at the RF, the EF lenses. EF has been out for so long, and the fact that you can still use them, and they work really good. They really do. Even like Series 1 from back in the day, they look really good too. Definitely consider buying used EF glass if you want to save some money. Like I said earlier, I came from the 6D Mark II, and it was a similar feel, but I'll tell you one thing that wasn't similar, and it had no dynamic range. This shoots 14-bit raw images when you use a mechanical shutter. I think it's 13 or 12-bit raw when you use electronic. I rarely use electronic unless I know I'm shooting fast action wildlife. It's mainly mechanical just because I like that extra bit of dynamic range that you get. 6D Mark II had none. Like, it was so bad at recovering shadows. Especially, like, I just never even thought you can recover highlights. This thing does a pretty good job. If a picture's blown out, it's blown out. Nothing you could do about it. But you can save so much with this. I was surprised. All right, and then number 9 is kind of what I just said. You have the option to shoot up to 20 FPS. That's absolutely amazing for a camera these days. That's not you know, an astronomical price, and I think that it's just what makes this camera the all-around camera that you need for wildlife, or, you know, where I live in Alaska. I have so many options to use at my disposal, and if I wasn't a vlogger, I would just probably have this one camera, unless I'm shooting like the Northern Lights and stuff. Then I like to do one time lapse and then one for compositions. I can't get over the fact that this camera has so much in it, and I just feel like it's slept on. Like, people talk about the A1 and the Z9, but here's the problem with those cameras, and that leads to tip number 10. And find another camera that does the other 9 features I said for $38.99. That's what this camera cost. Well, just the body. The A1 is like $6,500. The Z9 is like $6,000, I think. $3,000 more for this. I guess that would be $2,000 to $3,000 more. This R5 is the core of photography and video. It has everything you need plus more for a good price. Now, it is still expensive, but compared to other things on the market today, this is actually still a really good price. And if you are within the Canon system already and you're still using a DSLR, I highly recommend you jump up to the R5 or even the R6. Don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking other brands. I think that it's ridiculous when people make YouTube videos. Well, I switched to Nikon or I switched to Sony because this company couldn't do this. And you know what? Those people are a load of crap. They just got spare money to spend. All of these cameras can get the same results. It's just, I love how easy it is for me to get the results that I get, and it's something I've grown used to. I've been with the Canon system for a few years before I upgraded to this, and I just have no reason to ever get another camera that's another brand, because this thing can just handle everything I throw at it. Even if they released an R5 Mark II, they just released the R5C. For the first time, feel like this is the camera that I need for the rest of my life. I'd like to eventually upgrade the ES-R that I'm recording with to an R5 or R6. It is what it is right now. And I'm just gonna stop ranting about it, and hopefully you guys learned a couple things about why I love this R5 so much. But like I said, it's not a reason to switch to Canon. Don't do that. If you're in Nikon, get something Nikon. The Z6, the Z7, the Z9 Mark II. Well, the Z9 isn't a Mark II. I meant to say the Z6 Mark II, the Z7 Mark II, and the Z9, or the Sony A1 or the AR4, whatever you call it. They all can get similar results. They all have really good video quality. They all have good image quality, and whether your camera is 20 megapixels like the R6 or 45 megapixels like the R5, they're both going to produce amazing results that you can blow up huge images for. You might not be able to crop in as much with the R6 and have it as detailed, but if you showed one person an R6 and one person R5, they might not even notice a difference of images. But I'm going to end the video here. I'm done ranting. Wanted to get this out. Just a great camera. Hopefully one day I will be able to have a couple of these in the system. Well, you know what? Let me just say one more thing. I use the R for landscape and vlogging, and I use the R5 for wildlife and slow motion. That's kind of how I use my cameras. But all right, I'm ending it. That I've said too much. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.